Good morning. Welcome to the pastor's study at Schoodic Lake today. Drizzling, uh, rain throughout the day, mostly. I do notice an unbelievable amount of fishing boats coming out to go fishing. It's like this small armada are out there this morning. There are boats everywhere. And even though the drizzle, they're going fishing, and good for them. I think good for them to try to have some normalcy and all of the things that are going on around us. It's good to see that. Trusting that you are well today and your family's well. Life goes on for all of us. Just praying today that we continue to have our focus where it needs to be and trusting in Jesus to help us. And He will. He has assured us of that in His Word. You remember years ago, before TV was in color, I remember the first TV we had at our house was an old black and white thing. I think it was a Capehart. And I don't even know what company that was, but I think it was one of those that you build it yourself kind of thing. Dad was into TV repair in the 50s. I mean, that's what he was doing. He was working for a company and did a lot of things. But I remember the black and white TV and the way things came across the airwaves were different than it is now. You didn't have a flood of information. You just had one single station, really. And at the end of the day, sure enough, the national anthem be played, and there would be this test pattern, what we call a test pattern, come up on there on the screen, and it had the channel number in the middle of it, and it would just be there. And that was it. All night long, that test pattern would be there. And in the morning, it would be there, and at 6 o'clock, the test pattern would disappear, and TV shows would start. But every now and then, that test pattern would appear, and TV would end right there on the spot. Anytime during the day, because the reception was bad, and the sign would come over, we're experiencing technical difficulties, and the TV became locked down. And that was that. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be an hour, 15 minutes. We never knew, but it locked down and the test pattern come up. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Today, it's a little different. I mean, we've got smart TVs, smartphones, we've got PCs, laptops, TV remotes that are supposed to interact with each other. Syncing, what they call syncing, where your phone hooks to your laptop, hooks to your PC, all at the same time, and everything's jumping around. But every now and then, your machine, your thing that you use, your smart piece of a technological invention, the screen will lock up. And it's like it has so much information in it that it can't process it. If you open too many screens at once, it locks up, won't let you do anything. And you just sit there and what am I supposed to do? And someone in the background will hope, when was the last time you rebooted it? That seems to be a common term. Reboot, reset, and refresh seems to be the terms today. When the video is overloaded and things, you have to shut them off. And we get into that habit, don't we? Or we should be into that habit with our devices, that once a day we shut that thing off, because if you don't, somehow it gets overloaded and locks down. And as I look at those terms today, reboot, reset, and refresh, I think about us as Christians. Christians today are loaded up. We are just loaded with things. Circumstances, emotions are running wild, and the whole load on us is such a load that we can shut down, and we quite often do, because we can't handle all the information that's coming at us. It's overwhelming, some of the information. Some of it's disconcerting or troubling. It's captivating and driving our emotions, and we are held by that, and we're locked up. We're locked down. I would suggest today, because of these things and because that we need to reboot. We need to take a time to reboot, reset, and be refreshed. And the Bible tells us a lot about life and about living and about the overload and about what we allow on ourselves to control us and what it does to us. Right off the bat, Jesus in Matthew, Sermon on the Mount, he says, don't, in chapter 6, verse 34, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Yesterday's gone. Don't fret tomorrow. Don't bring into tomorrow what happened yesterday or today. Don't let these things go from one day to the next and hold you. He's saying right now, living in the now, isn't for us to pay attention to. Jeremiah says this. God says to Jeremiah, I will refresh the weary and satisfy the saint. 31:25 of Jeremiah. God will refresh. Lamentations. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Oh, great is his faithfulness. Oh, over in 2 Corinthians, Paul writes this, therefore we do not lose heart. 2 Corinthians 4:16. Though outwardly we are wasting away or being challenged and wearied, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. And then over in Romans, Paul understands the Christian people. He understands what it is to be Christian. And he says, so that I may come to you. Romans 15:32, he knew that by being with God's people and knowing God's people and being in their presence, and in your company, he says, I will be refreshed. Amazing, isn't it? Just the very thought that Jesus knew that the troubles and the trials of the world were going to be there and that they can overload us and we lock down. Today is a question raised, are we refreshing? Are we rebooting every day? Do we take the time to turn the receptacles off in our Christian walk and to shut down at night and be renewed and be refreshed at each morning that we get up, leaving the things in the past and focusing on the now and what Jesus is doing in us? Representing Jesus today, the church needs to be representing Jesus, who Jesus is, his life, the way he is. And perhaps through the struggles that we face, that gets locked inside the commotion. It gets locked inside because of the weariness and the heaviness of all the things that we face. It's a huge call on us. And if we don't reboot, reset, and refresh, if we don't focus on that time with Jesus and letting go and surrendering up the day and being reset and being woken up every day, renewed in the possibilities and the wonders of what Jesus is going to do, we're going to get locked up. We'll get locked up and be locked down. So every day we got to turn things off. Just like our phones, just like our TVs, just like the smart stuff. We have to shut it down so that it regroups. I think for us as Christians, that would be very helpful today. That because of the load, because of what Jesus is, who he is in our lives, and what people need to see, I think that's good today, that we should reboot, reset, and be refreshed. There's a song out there, there shall be showers of blessings. I brought to mind this morning a great deal of focusing on God and letting him refresh us. It says, there shall be showers of blessing, precious reviving again. Over the hills and the valley, there's the sound of abundance of rain. There shall be showers of blessing. Send them upon us, O Lord. Grant to us now a refreshing. Come and now honor thy word. The Bible is so full of verses about being refreshed by God, being refreshed by the Spirit of God in us. But lo, we got to reboot. We've got to be able to pay attention in our lives and shut things off. Because at the end of the day, oh my, the load is on us. And it has a tendency to lock us down. Well, I want to pray for that today. For each and every one of you, myself as well, pray for me, that this rebooting becomes the commonplace, the resetting of our focus and our view, and the refreshing moving of God each morning upon our lives is the reality for us. Oh, I pray that today. I pray that even in spite of this, in spite of the things that are going on, you have the sense of Christ's presence and the refreshingness that that brings every morning. Oh, God bless you. Let's pray, shall we? Father, thank you for the simple things in life, that just turning something off, settling down, taking a powder and just reflecting and just letting you just settle us down into yourself again and shutting things off is important. It really is. You want to maintain your presence in our lives in spite of everything. You want people to see Jesus in our lives. And that a simple thing like that, simple thing, could mean so much to you in our lives personally, but as a church and as a force in the world, that we would be refreshing to others as they come into our presence because of you, Jesus. I pray that for each and every one today. In your name I pray. Well, God bless you. Perhaps you've joined us today and you're short-circuiting. Your innards are all twisted up and you can't find peace and you can't find direction. Jesus has that capability. He has the ability to come into your life and set things straight, give you vision, and give you sight. Seek him out today, as we do. We seek him out. We need rebooting, resetting, and refreshing. Well, God bless you folks today. Be well in the Lord and be refreshed this morning, for he is new every day. God bless.